Hey guys, I hope that you're all keeping well. Today is a good day. Today we're going to be making delicious donuts. So what we're going to need for that is some plain flour, caster sugar, milk, soft butter, dried yeast, eggs, and a pinch of salt. So we are going to make this dough really quickly, and this is put into the fridge overnight, and I will be cooking it tomorrow morning. So again, this does take a little bit of organisation because as you'll see when I make the dough, it is quite soft. So I put it into a container, let it prove overnight in the fridge, and then I'll take it out tomorrow and we can start it again from there. To kickstart, I have heated my milk up in the microwave very slightly. We just want to put the yeast in here. If it's too hot, it is going to kill the yeast. If it's too cold, it won't activate it. So just have it warm, just like a lukewarm. So I'm putting in the full sachet of yeast here. I'm just going to give that a little shake, and I'm just going to leave that to sit now for about 5 minutes or so until it froths up. And while that is doing its thing, I'm going to start the rest of the dough. I'm using my tried and tested Kenwood here today, and it's just so much handier because you do need to mix this dough for a little bit of time. So again, you can do it by hand, but it does take a little bit of work. So it is handy to pop it into a bowl here and walk away from it. So I have added in my sugar. I am putting in my plain flour. Now you will notice online, or if you've ever made these before again, a lot of recipes do call for strong flour when making donuts, but I always make it with plain and it works out just as good. On top of that, I just have a little bit of salt. So I'm just going to put in a pinch of salt in there. And again, always keep your salt and your yeast separate whenever you're making bread, because the salt can actually kill the yeast. I have my eggs. I'm just going to pop those in. And we will wait another, I suppose, 2 minutes or so for our yeast. I have just mixed that in the bowl. So we're just going to leave that for another couple of minutes. We're going to add that in, give it a mix. And when that is nice and smooth, then we add in our butter, and then that goes into the fridge overnight. Into my mix now, I'm going to add in my yeast and milk mixture. And I'm going to mix that now with the dough hook attachment here on slow speed to begin with, until it all forms a smooth dough. And once it's nice and smooth, then we will add in our butter. So this now has been mixing for in around, I'd say, 4 to 5 minutes or so. As you can see now, we have a lovely sticky elastic dough. I'm just going to scrape that off here, off my dough hook, so it'll fall back down into my bowl. And the next step is to add in our butter. So I'm just going to again spoon this in, and we're going to turn the mixer back on, and we're going to keep mixing this now until we are left with a lovely smooth and shiny elastic dough. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So that's the last of the butter gone in. So as I said, drop this back down onto a low to medium speed and keep mixing this now until the butter is fully incorporated. So I'm just scraping my bowl down just to help my mixer dough hook catch the dough here, so it is mixed fully. So this is the second time that I've just scraped it down, and again putting that back on and continuing to mix until all the butter is gone and you're left with a shiny dough. So this has been mixing now for, I would say, definitely close to 8 to 10 minutes. It is, it does take a little bit of time. And as I said, if you're doing this by hand, it does take you longer. So it is handy to have a machine like this. So as you can see here, the dough is really soft. And that's what we're looking for. So this wouldn't be too soft to roll and cook now. So this is why I always make my donut dough the day before and pop it in the fridge. So I'm just going to put this into a greased bowl, cover that in cling film. I'm going to pop that into the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow I will take that out and we will roll them into our donut shapes, allow them to prove, and then cook them. It is now the following morning. I have let this chill overnight in the fridge, and I have just dusted my work surface. So I'm going to turn this out and divide these up into equal sized portion balls. I used my weighing scales just because I like to have them all the same size. That way I know that they'll prove at the same time, that they'll cook at the same time. So these are 50-gram donuts at the moment. So I got 9 pieces out of that mix, okay? So what we're just doing now is just dusting my hand with a little bit of flour. And again, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do with one hand, but I'm just going to roll this on the table to create a lovely round shape here. And I'm going to continue to do that with the remaining 8 pieces of donut dough here, and I'm going to put those on a lined tray, cover them with a kitchen cloth and let them prove until they are doubled in size, and then they are ready to be cooked. Now my donuts have doubled up in size, and I have my little oil pan heating up here, and I've just popped one donut in here because it is ready. If you have a deep fry fryer at home, set it to in or around 165 to the 175 mark, and that's what you're going to cook your donuts in. Now these will puff up a little bit, so do allow a bit of space in between. I'm just going to continuing popping the donuts in. As you can see here, it is bubbling up nicely, and they are going to take a few minutes to cook on each side, so you are going to have to turn them as corner as they cook. And I should get them all in, I think, in one go. Yes, I will squeeze them all in. There we go. So that is all of the donuts in, and as you can see, they are starting to cook. I am just going to organize my little sugar dusting tray while these are cooking. So now it is time to flip the donuts over. Ooh, beautiful, gorgeous golden brown color. That's exactly what we're looking for. That took about in around, I would say, 2 to 3 minutes on that side. Now, so that is them flipped over, and we're going to cook them for the same amount of time now on that side, and they should be good to go. So now, as corner as our donuts are ready, I am just going to lift them up here, drain off as much of the excess oil as I can. I'm just going to pop that into my tray. I'll do it about 2 at a time, just to give me. And then you're just going to shake these on the tray here, cover them all over with sugar, and then let them cool down. As you can see now, I have taken my donuts out of the fryer, and I have just dusted them in caster sugar. And I'm going to take these off this rack now and just let them cool down. And then we are going to fill them with delicious strawberry jam. My donuts have completely cooled down here on the rack, as you can see, and I'm just going to fill them now. So I filled up a little piping bag with a small nozzle and some jam, and I'm just going to push the nozzle into the center part here. So where it cooked either side in the oil. So this part here, I'm just going to pop the nozzle in there and squeeze in some jam. This is the part where you get creative. You can leave these plain. You can add in strawberry jam, raspberry jam, Nutella, lemon curd. You can go to the moon and back. You can then create whatever favourite filling you have at home. Chocolate ganache. Yeah, you can go to the moon and back. So many nice ideas. So I'm just going to keep this classic and go with a strawberry jam. So I'm just going to fill these up now, and I'll be straight back to you. So that's it, guys. I have just filled my donuts with some strawberry jam, and I popped them standing up in my little dish here. So the one good thing about this is you can make your donut dough and put it in the fridge overnight, but it will keep in the fridge for up to 3 days. So then you can after the 3rd day, you can still take it out and roll it and prove it. It may take a little bit longer, but that's the one good thing about this. It is a 2-day process by the time that you make your donuts and then take them out the following day and prove them. But trust me when I say it is so worth the extra effort. They are so tasty. And in saying that, it would be extremely rude not to. So I'm going to go in. No words.